Hey everyone, my name is Chris Carnell. I'm a co-founder at Codify, and I just wanted to send you all a brief video as an introduction to Code Labs. In previous years, we've been doing this for a few years now, and I love going to the sessions at the first night when people are pretty jazzed up, or some people are bug-eyed, wondering what the heck they got themselves into. But it's always fun that first night. We've grown so much that I did get to spend some time with the Cape in-person cohort, but I didn't get a chance to say hello to the virtual and the Springfield cohorts, and I wanted to say hello. I had someone ask me just this past week of, why are you doing Codify Labs or Code Labs? What is this about? And so I wanted to send just a brief video as what we've done in the future, which is a welcome to the program, but also then provide a little context to why we even have something like this. So we started Codify, my business partner, Dr. James Stapleton, and I started the company about 8 years ago. And we really just connected on, we wanted to provide opportunities to people who wouldn't necessarily have them with where we are in the world, geographically at least. James and I both come from small towns. I come from Sikeston, Missouri, and he comes from Lyons, Kansas. And they just didn't have the resources or the people or the things that we were interested in. We were interested in tech startups, and they didn't have the things there to help people to get started in those types of things. So we decided to start something that would help people with that. And for people who never got experience to code when they were younger, or for people that never got to go to college, or even for people who've gone to college but now they're in a career that isn't as fulfilling, we wanted to create something that those people still had an outlet to be creative and find a life that's fulfilling through their work. So we started off as a startup and entrepreneur support organization, and our first program was First 50K, where we give away $50,000 non-dilutive to tech startups that locate here in Southeast Missouri, and we help them launch and grow. And as we did that at the beginning, we learned that there was a really lack of access to capital, human capital, especially here in Southeast Missouri, and how there were very few computer programmers. And so we decided to solve that problem. And we knew that it was going to take a different approach than what has been done traditionally in secondary or higher institutions and education, and felt like there were some boot camps that were out there that weren't as impactful as we would like them to be. So we decided to start our own thing. And we're very fortunate that we have a handful of individuals, state and federal organizations that have supported Code Labs, that were able to offer these scholarships to individuals that go for the program where you don't have to charge for it, and that it's free to you all other than the time that you are going to commit to going through this. But I do have to say that though it's free, it doesn't speak to the quality or the rigor of this program. You all probably know by now of what you've read and applied, and you're starting to learn, talking to your code coaches, that by design, this program is very rigorous. It's going to take quite a bit of effort for you to be successful, but you will have plenty of opportunities, you'll have a bunch of time, and you will have all the resources that you need to be successful. We've seen it time and time again throughout the years. You've already probably heard some of these things, but I wanted to provide you all with some things as we've seen people go through the program throughout the years and then gone back and talked to them of what they did that they thought was successful in them getting jobs most quickly. So what did they do through the program that set them up for success? And I wanted to share some of those things with you all to hopefully encourage you all and give you an idea of what success will look like and what you can do to be most successful in this program and get the most out of it. Because obviously you're going to get as much out of it as you put into it. So the first thing that I have is put in the time. This is more than just coming to class. So if you're just coding just an hour before the class and then you get here, you won't be successful here. You will fail, and you won't be able to grasp the concepts. What we've seen traditionally, people that have been successful post-program, they spend about 20 hours a week, including class time, learning these new skills. And so I think the best way to do that is have like a predefined set throughout the week of when you're gonna strictly work on Code Lab. So let's say Friday or Monday and Thursday, 5:30 to 8:30, you're in session. Let's say on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday, you're dedicating this block of time and you're going to be spending it on the things that you've learned. So put in the time. The second thing is repetition. So the schedule that you're going to be having, while right now may seem a little slow to some, it's going to gradually increase. And so I encourage you not to just blaze ahead. Don't just watch the videos and then go on to the next one. So what I do encourage you to do is like just sit there and just watch the video. And then watch the video and code along. So pause, code, press play, press pause, code, and then don't watch the video and try to code the concepts that you just learned. So I'll repeat that. Watch the video, don't code, but then watch the video, code along, and then don't watch the video and code. So repetition. So you can do this by taking a concept that you're just learning. Let's, for a small example, learning just how to make a button. And so work through that deeper. How can you make the button say something or look differently, a different color, go somewhere else on the page, or act differently when you press it? So there's different ways to go about with repetition, but if you repeat things, they'll start to take grasp in your mind, and they'll hold with you as you go along. So repetition, repetition, repetition. The next thing we would say is Google it. So I think there's this misconception that some of the best developers they know everything, or they have grasped and remembered everything that they've ever been taught. And so if they're going to build the next application, they just sit down and they just build everything from scratch, and they don't ever have to look anything up. And that is absolutely not the case. Some of the best developers I know that are right across the hall, they're some of the best Googlers that I know, or search engine engineers. They know how to find answers to problems that they have. And so literally, as you get an error as you're building something, or if you have a question, copy paste or take exactly the question that you're going to ask and put it in Google or whatever search engine that you use. And 90% of the time, you're going to find answers to these questions. If you don't, obviously reach out and be helpful, which really takes me to the next point, which is this is a collaborative effort. So research is starting to come out. There's definitely correlation in the time that you spend. So obviously the more time you spend doing something, the better you're going to get at. But there's actually even a stronger correlation with the number of people that you engage with as you're learning something new, especially for something like computer programming. So that's why we have in-person sessions where people get together and learn. That's why in the virtual programs, we break out in the small breakout rooms and you're working together, is because you're more likely to retain the things that you're learning as you're working together and you're talking about, okay, this is the problem I'm working on. Have you gone through this problem, or do you have a solution for it? Or sharing, hey, this light bulb, I had this problem and I solved it. And so there's a collaborative effort to this, and that it is exactly how the actual real world work environment is. You're not going to be off in your basement just coding by yourself, but it's a very collaborative group effort to build applications. So anytime you have a problem, I encourage you, post it in Slack. 100% of the time, there's going to be someone else that had that question, or be engaging in the classroom setting, ask the question. Someone else probably has that question and they're just too reserved or intimidated to ask it. So I encourage you all to be engaging. I have two last points here, and then we'll wrap up. The last thing is that I'm sure a lot of you, especially right now, a majority of the people have come into this program have never coded before. And you've got this feeling of, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I have no clue what I'm doing right now. There's people that probably know so much more than me. Here's the thing. That is going to be the case for the entirety that you would ever be considered a computer programmer. We'll start to bring people of industry experts in and have talks. And one of my favorite ones is we bring in a guy named Brian Holdman, who was a developer and was eventually the head webmaster at SEMO, owned all of their digital assets, eventually built out, you may have been familiar with the application called Cargo, and now he's building a GIS application, managing a team, building a team here in the US. He's obviously built out millions of lines of code in a bunch of different languages. He's been doing this for 25 plus years. He still has imposter syndrome. He still comes to work on days and is like, why do they trust me building these types of things? And so what I encourage you all is to not only be aware of that feeling, but to be comfortable with that feeling. Because the best people, what I found is that they find curiosity in that. So there's going to be this uneasiness that you don't know, but that's okay. And that's normal. And that's good that you don't think that you know it all, because there's always going to be things that you can do better, that you can do differently, that you can learn. And so I encourage you, when you do have those types of feelings, think back to how far have I come along? So 2 months in and you get this feeling, just think through, man, look what I've learned within the past 2 months. It's going to blow you away. And especially here at the beginning, just know that it's normal. It's completely normal. Overwhelmingly, everyone in this program is feeling that way right now, and it is completely okay. And the last thing that I will add is take breaks. So if you find yourself coding, you're in there for an hour and a half and you've been banging your head against this problem that you can't just solve, science says don't just keep doing it. Get up. Go do something to take your mind off the problem. Go take a walk, play with your dog, have a conversation with your family, have dinner, take a nap, or sleep for the night. Step away from the problem and then come back for it. The worst thing that you can do is just try to bang your head and bang your head and bang your head to try to solve a problem, because increasingly what you're doing is you're working on very mentally taxing problems. And the worst thing that you can do is just exhaust your brain. So take some time to step away from it and come back to it. You're more likely to solve the problems that way. So I hope that some of those kind of fundamental things you will think about and ingrain in the way as you learn about the things that you're learning through Code Labs. You have a team of people here at Codify, obviously part-time code coaches that are involved with other tech companies around the region who have gone through very similar programs of you all, who have also gone through Code Labs and are now employed, just like hopefully some of you all will be in the future. So they know what you're going through. They're your cheerleaders. They're going to be very encouraging for you all. So lean on them, lean on each other, and we wish you all the most success as you get into this program. If there's absolutely anything that you all have, definitely feel free to reach out. We'll continually reach out to you all to get feedback, because what we look to is to continue to improve this program, to make it most successful, and to make sure you have the best experience going through this. Thank you for your interest. Best of luck. Keep at it. Keep digging. I can't wait to see how far along you all are in a couple months. Take care.